Good morning, Vidya. Good afternoon. Are you hearing me?
Hello. Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, ma'am.
Am I audible?
Yeah, ma'am. Audible, ma'am. Shall we start the session, ma'am?
Yes, start the session.
Okay. Good afternoon, respected dignitaries, esteemed faculty members, resource persons, and dear participants. It gives us great pleasure to welcome you all to the Faculty Development Program on Emerging Trends in Advanced Healthcare Devices. This program aims to provide valuable insights into the latest innovations in AI-enabled systems, IoT-based solutions, and smart biomedical technologies, while also emphasizing the importance of safety, standards, and ethics in modern healthcare. Dr. N. Masudu Banu is a professor in Information and Communication Engineering at Vtmt Dr. Shakuntala R&D Institute of Science and Technology, Chennai. She holds a PhD from Anna University and has 20 plus years of teaching, research and industry experience, including positions at ISRO Bangalore and Motorola India Private Limited. Her expertise spans multimedia compression, embedded signal processing, and wireless communication, with contributions to biomedical image compression and brain-computer interface systems. She has supervised PhD scholars and served as examiner for multiple universities. She has delivered sessions in AICTE, Anna University, FTPs, and international conferences, Canada, China, and Malaysia, with advanced training in deep learning, CNNs, and educational technologies. She has collaborated with IIT Bombay on innovative teaching methods like visualization based learning. Her research is published in reputed journals and conferences with recognition from DSP Travel Grants and TIPSA's Instrument Innovation Support. She has also been reviewer for Springer and other journals. With these words, once again, I welcome you all beneficiaries, experts, and participants to this faculty development program. Thank you. Over to you, ma'am. You may take over the session.
Thank you, ma. Thank you. Everybody is muted, right? Others, because some sounds keep hearing. Okay, fine now. Okay, thank you, pa. So, good afternoon, everybody. Today's session is about brain-computer interface based rehabilitation systems. Some applications have some architecture, and that recent advances we'll see. And I believe that session will be interactive so that it will be good, because otherwise just to keep on explaining only the block diagram, it will be boring you as well as me. Fine. Anyway, before beginning to that, just a simple glance at what is AI. Next slide, I'm not able to. I should have searched before only. Just a minute. Just sorry for this thing. 2 minutes. That slide is not moving. Okay, now it's visible, first page. Hello? Hello?
Yes, ma'am, visible.
Visible, okay, thank you. Okay, then AI in machine learning. Machine learning is a branch of artificial intelligence and computer science that focuses on using the data and algorithms to enable AI to imitate the way the humans learn, gradually improving its accuracy. So this AI principle only we'll keep on applying in BCI things also. That's the reason I am putting this AI here. It's also a technology that enables computers which mimics human learning, comprehension, problem solving, decision making, creativity, and autonomy. So here also we will do decision making actually. We'll see it slowly. It's overarching system. There are different types. Machine learning is a subset of AI, and deep learning is another subset of machine learning. And neural networks make up the backbone of deep learning algorithms. So this we will see. Machine learning and neural network deep learning, we will see the differences. Machine learning and deep learning both are subset of AI. Machine learning, you need to give a structured data. Means feature extraction should be by manually we have to do the feature extraction. For example, feature extractions or like mean, median, average, those things also features. But deep learning can take unstructured data as well as it will create its own features. No intervention of man-made features. Okay. So this is about the basics of AI, which is needed fundamentally to understand BCI related things also. So next we will see what is brain-computer interface. It creates a direct communication path between brain's electrical activity, brain's physiological activity, and an external device such as computer or robotic limb without using normal muscle movement. That is something like a robotic limb, you are not going to move the limb. You are wearing only the cap, that is BCI headset. But it is automatically have a communication path between your brain activity and an external device that is like robotic limb without using normal muscle movement. You understand this? Your intervention is not needed to move the limb, robotic limb. Just automatically it is moved. Second point is by interpreting neural signals, BCI allows user to control machines, offering a promising technology for restoring functions lost to conditions like paralysis or neurodegenerative diseases and for enhancing cognitive abilities. So these are rehabilitation techniques. Okay. So what are the applications of BCI? It contributes for medical applications, rehabilitation, not only rehabilitation, BCI VR based hand-soft rehabilitation, BCI based post-stroke rehabilitation, neurofeedback systems in control of prosthetics, communication assistant for locked-in syndrome patients. So when you see that the top four is on same principle, the fifth one, communication assistant for locked-in syndrome patient, is little different. We will see these are all these applications, even some more we will see, maybe one thing in a different name also due to simple differences. So the last one I told you, the above four are the same and the fifth one is different. The fifth one is working in neurofeedback methodology and all the other four is working based on the motor imagery applications. So motor imagery applications, what are it? Graded motor imagery for chronic pain. You can train your brain not to have the pain. Rehabilitation treatment, persistent pain. Wheelchair movement, prosthetics, everything is depending upon this motor imagery. Means you are taking the BCI, but for every movement, there is a portion of your brain active. So motor imagery itself is having lot of rehabilitation applications. The other one I told, neurofeedback system as well as neurofeedback system in control of prosthetics also same like motor imagery only. But communication assistance for locked-in syndrome patients, it is completely different. We will see one by one. So generic BCI block diagram. So this is very simple. Maybe even this is same for image applications also. Instead of brain, you will give MRI or whatever it is, right? So you are acquiring the signal from the brain. Acquired signal is going through some pre-processing. So what is pre-processing? Here means you have what are the types of pre-processing is like removing the noise, etc. Right? So removing the noise means again there are different types of noise. We will see later. And after you get a clean information, you are going to do the feature extraction. So BCI, this feature extraction can be man-made or otherwise with deep learning also. Understand? If you use machine learning, we have to craft the features. That is called man-made features. If you are using deep learning, sometimes people in deep learning also use features and then fine features they are extracting using the deep learning. Okay, after feature extraction, you can go for classification. Once you classify, you are going to operate a device. See, BCI. Hello? Any clarification? Any clarification needed? Some noise is coming, please. Okay, so BCI, it generates a signal and the signal is decoded into some movement so that the device is getting controlled. So the device finally operate the application. Sometimes from the device you can have a feedback also. Sometimes no feedback, sometimes you can have a feedback also. This is generic BCI. Now what are all the pre-processing, what are all the features we will see. You see that again it is a BCI application only. Signal acquisition, that is portion of the brain and everything, it is shown here. And the signal processing, if you see, filtering, artifacts removal, other techniques like band pause filtering or whatever. Filtering will have notch filter, power line frequency filtering, that is 50 hertz interference will be there. So that you need to filter. And then other techniques is like band pause filtering, whatever. These are all pre-processing. Time domain features. So filtering side, you will get spectral domain, that is frequency domain features. This side, other side, time domain features. For example, if you take ECG, that QRS complex time is exact time is important. So that is why we will be structural anatomy, structural shape of the waveform is very important in deciding the type of the disease with respect to heart. So those cases you need timing information for the time domain features or frequency domain features, like you apply FFT because EEG is always divided into alpha, beta, gamma frequencies. So these are all the features. So features can be time domain or frequency domain. Filtering is for just making a clean data. So any data if you get, it will not be clean. When you take ECG also, movement artifacts will be there. We will not be stagnant, just like a statue. We cannot sit, right? We cannot sleep. We cannot lie down. All these things because of any artifact, movement artifacts will be there. Eye blinking also is a movement artifact for EEG, right? So all these things will be filtered, and the other side, once the filtering, we will be finding out the features which is you think important for that. Next one, motor imagery classification. So there are different types. Deep learning methods are there, machine learning methods are there. In deep learning, CNN, RNN, LSTM, MLP, multi-level perceptron is not very suitable here. It is a GRU. Right? Machine learning is SVM, support vector machines, KNN, K nearest neighbor algorithms, and decision tree algorithm, all those things coming under machine learning models. So what is the beauty of machine learning? One hand is it requires comparatively less number of inputs. In deep learning, you need lots and lots of inputs, which is very difficult in case of medical field. For example, for locked-in syndrome means stroke patients only, but still they will not be able to communicate. But their brain will think, but their communication, that mouth operation is limited, right? So in that case, we need to have a EEG, but it is very difficult to get 20,000, 50,000 because it will work only with 50, 60,000 signals. So it is difficult, very difficult. But machine learning beauty is within 1,000 signals also you will be able to do it. Difficulty is you need to craft the features. So it is not possible to make it learn the features also. Deep learning will learn the features and the classification also. But machine learning, you need to feed it with the features and so that it will classify. So once classification is done, corresponding movement has to be executed so that the interface, it is again the movement interface, it will connect to the person who is having the difficulty. So it will move. Okay. So this is a generic interface. So slowly we will see application by application. Mostly it is common across all. Mostly it is common across this feature extraction, this whatever, those blocks is same, very same. Only thing is, suppose if you want to do any action, for that the brain has to generate the signal, in the sense you need to stimulate the action. So those things, stimulus has to be designed for each and every application. So that will be the difference. Otherwise, complete block diagram, more 80% it will be same for applications. irrespective of all applications, right? Okay. So key components already I told you, this pre-processing, artifact removal, feature extraction, classification or decoding. Output actuators, what are all output actuators is a robot exoskeleton. I will show you the exoskeleton some in other slides. Okay, so then feedback. Once the control device is operating, the feedback has to be given to the user, right? So that he will adjust it. Then adaptation and learning loop. Then finally, clinical evaluation is mandatory. So you say that my BCA is working for me. That's not the end of the story. You have to do clinical evaluation that is it applicable to every patient similar to me. I was the one who was used as an experiment by the researcher, right? So I am not the only one to tell them that, okay, it is working for me. It's restricted. It is working only for me, not for everyone, right? So we have to do the clinical evaluation. So again, pre-processing pipeline already we saw, but here there is one more thing we are seeing is spatial filtering. What is spatial filtering? So spatial filtering, one way it is, for example, if you take images are two-dimensional. So filtering with respect to each space, right? 8 by 8 or 16 by 16. So that is also called spatial filtering. But here the spatial filtering meaning is different. We'll see that, right? So spatial filtering will come with respect to motor imagery. Okay. So there are two paradigms by which the BCA is working. Two things is, one is P300 signal, another one is motor imagery, right? So what is P300 paradigm? So P300 BCAs, there are BCAs which is working on P300 principle. Use an oddball paradigm where users identify a specific target by focusing on it. So the user will be asked to focus on a particular task, right? So particular target, triggering a distinct brain wave. So if someone is looking at something and if anything is appearing on the screen which they like, immediately there will be a spark in their mind, right? Spark in their brain. For example, when you go somewhere else, you accidentally see some heroines or heroes. So definitely you will be excited to see them, right? So when you're excited to see, your brain waves are different. So that is what this oddball paradigm. So the user is asked to see many things. When they see many things, it's oddball. Oddball means something different, what they wanted. It comes, that is called, that time what is the signal generated is called P300 signal. So this, based on this, there are some applications in BCI. Other thing is like the same P300, other BCI types include steady state visually evoked potentials, which are elicited by flickering visual stimuli. In front of you, there will be flashcards. Because of this flashcards, you visually evoked potential because you are looking at the flashcards. So because of the visual thing, your brain is eliciting some potentials. That is called SSVP, steady state visually evoked. Because someone is not by pinching you, right? By showing you something, flashing you something. Your brain activity is different. So that is why steady state visually evoked potential, right? So this is another paradigm. Another one is motor imagery. This is what used in many of the applications, right? So when you want to move your hand or when you want to move your foot, right? What happens is some part of your brain is activated. So each and every action is limited to one particular region in the brain. This is the research output, right? So because of this, Our activities such as hand movement, foot movement, or any limb movement are performed under the control of functional region in our brain, namely motor cortex, functional region. So movements are function, right? Functional. So when you do this some functional activity, there is a region in the brain called functional region. So that will be activated. That region is called motor cortex, right? It sends the required signal to the limbs through alpha motor neurons. Limbs means your hand or your legs, right? Through alpha motor neurons. Due to this motor activities, certain changes can be observed in the particular brain rhythms. Even if we think or imagine about the limb movements without doing them physically, then also those specific activities can be observed. See, very good research. Not only when you are moving, it is activated. Even if you are thinking about the movement, this is what used for rehabilitation applications. Even when you are thinking about moving, even though you are not capable of moving, but every man wants to be active, right? So when he wants to move, then the movements, accordingly the functional cortex will have a signal. Specific activities can be observed in the same brain region, and this generates similar brain rhythms. That is not only because of movement, the moment you think also you have a specific activity in the brain. This type of thinking or imagination-based activities in the BCI are known as motor imagery. Either P300 or this one, we are calling it as BCI because brain is ultimate signal is produced by or generated by the brain. Okay. So now in P300, there's a different funda. In motor imagery case, we have a different fundamentals, right? That is called spatial filtering. In motor imagery, it refers to the techniques that process electroencephalography signals from multiple scalp electrodes, because it will be 64 electrodes or 32 electrodes. There are large number of electrodes to extract relevant features, spatial features that differentiate between different MI intentions. What is the MI? Motor imagery intentions, like imagining left or right hand movement, or imagining left or right leg movement, moving forward. All those things, all are functional. So for everything, we'll have the motor imagery cases, right? So in this case, because one particular region for left hand and maybe left leg also. So how will you differentiate it? When the same area is elicited for left hand as well as left leg, how can we differentiate the action? So there is where comes algorithms like common spatial patterns are widely used to find spatial filters that maximizes the variance of specific EEG patterns linked to each MI class. Even though the space where we have the actions are same for left hand and left leg, there will be some patterns differentiated between these two, specific to each MI class. MI is motor imagery class, again left leg, left arm, right leg and right arm. So this process helps to isolate and enhance the spatial components of the brain activity, making it easier to decode the intended movement in the brain-computer interface. We want to move further, that is forward. No, I need to go a little back. No, I need to go in the side, maybe right side or left side. All these things will have a different pattern. In your brain, the brain pattern is different. Identifying that pattern is called spatial filtering. So it is meaning. Filtering usually refers to the frequencies, slow pass, high pass, band pass, those with respect to frequencies. Here, with respect to the patterns, In the same area, there are different patterns for different activity. So that is called common spatial patterns. Okay. So we will see now different applications. Motor rehabilitation after stroke. What about a stroke patient? Stroke patient, if maybe lightly stroke, they will be having the leg movement or hand movement, but it will not be fully functional, right? It will not be fully functional. So we need to help the patients to regain the motor function in hands, arms or legs. We know physiotherapists are the people who help the stroke patients to regain their strength in their hands or legs wherever they get affected. They got affected, right? So physiotherapists play the role usually, but now there are devices, right? That is BCI devices. So how we are going to do it? Patient, we need to give a training to the patient, right? Patient should imagine moving the paralyzed limb. When he imagines, he has to keep on getting training in this, right? The patient imagines moving the paralyzed limb. When he does it, immediately this brain-computer interface the person wearing detects the motor imagery, C3, C4, CZ activity. So now the activities happened because the patient imagined the movement, that some signal has been elicited. Now what to do, right? Now what we can do is, we have to classify what kind of a movement it is using common spatial pattern, right? What kind of a movement we need to classify. So once you classify, you need to move your limb. For example, arm, right arm. The patient has to lift his arm upward because his arms are very tight. We need to give the exercise, right? So for this exercise, he need to move it. So what happens is, here what is robotic exoskeleton is, you can see the picture here, exoskeleton. So this person, what he is wearing is called exoskeleton. See that every joints it has been going through, spinal cord, legs and hands, right? So this is normal person, he is not a stroke person. So when the normal person, this is used in military and all, I think. Why? What is the purpose of purpose for the normal person in the military? Military, you see that people have to carry heavy things on their back, or they need to often lift very heavy things. Even the gun will be so heavy, right? So when it is not possible for them, what they can do is using a BCI to operate his exoskeleton. This exoskeleton attached to his body have this motors. The motors will pull his muscles in the direction we want to move. Understand it? So each and every joint has been connected. Dots are joints, right? So the hand, fingers joints and joints and spinal cord, everywhere it is there. So this exoskeleton, if you can lift only 50 kg, using this exoskeleton you can lift 100 kg. That's how it is pushing your body, giving strength to your body to lift the 100 feet, right? So similar thing is used for a stroke patient, because stroke patient cannot move his hand. So when the exoskeleton only in the hands or wherever it is affected, only in the finger or only in the arm movement or only in the leg movement, wherever it is, upper arm exoskeleton, lower arm exoskeleton, like it is available. That person wearing is complete suit used to lift something. But here it is for just a rehabilitation purpose. What is the rehabilitation purpose? Is to give him some exercise. That's it, right? So to give him exercise, you have been, many of us have seen a person affected by the stroke who will not be able to stand or walk or even lift, not even to lift their food, right? For that also the movement will not come. When that doesn't come, this will work out, right? So functional electrical simulation stimulates the muscles directly, and then virtual reality visual feedback. We'll see this virtual reality benefit promotes neuroplasticity because stroke patients will not have that plasticity in their hand. So because of that only they are not able to lift their hand, not only because of energy, they would have lost their plasticity. So very everywhere you can move your hand. Gymnasium kids will do like anything in whatever way they want their body to twist and turn, they will do because of exercise only. So these will not even have this side. So they see this, look at this block diagram. Everything, general block diagram I gave, all these things comes into picture here. EG recording, maybe this is 16 electrodes I believe, or maybe 32 electrodes, not 64 electrodes. So it depends upon the number of electrodes, you will have the high accuracy, right? So EG cap that person is wearing, once he starts thinking about something, the motor imagery, it has been put, no, that region is mostly responsible for generating the motor imagery, right? So when the signal is generated, the signal acquisition device, maybe like actually acquisition is only by your cap. Once it is acquired, you need to amplify, instrumentation amplifier will do the job. Because we need to have a processing, it has to be connected to anyway microcontroller. So the signal acquisition is the microcontroller will take because instrumentation amplifier will amplify to such an extent that the A to D converter within the signal acquisition device will understand the voltage. Otherwise, it will be in microvolts, especially EG is microvolts, so that the A to D converter will not understand it all. No sensitivity will be there. That is why we are amplifying with the instrumentation amplifier, and then we go for an embedded system. So that embedded system digitize and it stores as a digitized data. So you are seeing the EEG data set, it is given to you, but it will be there in the memory, right? So once it is there in the memory, again pre-process, whatever we told, right? Artifacts, power line noise, all those things will be clipped because of pre-processing. And then feature extraction. See, when you use feature extraction, sometimes you think that this feature is this feature I need, this feature I need, this feature I need, all those things I need, you will think. But sometimes all those things are not needed. Maybe if you take 100 features, some 50 or 60 is enough. This feature selection. So what is the algorithm which does feature selection is principal component analysis or independent component analysis. So these things you would have, maybe for EC faculty, you would have seen in some communication subject, digital communication, first unit will be independent component, not independent component analysis, I don't remember yet, but it will be independent component analysis like. So when you do independent component analysis, we will find out that whether it is needed or not, all these features are needed or not. So you select something. After 100, you select some 40 or 50 or even 60. So once you do selection, you classify, right? That classifier will decide whether left hand movement is there or right hand movement is there or foot movement is there. So this decided thing is given to the controller, right? So controller is what will make you to move. Will make you the person who is wearing the EG cap, right? So that is called feedback. You just to move upward or move just a little below, just to one right, one left, because he has already moved. Already moved. He is just imagining so that the controller will make them to move, right? So that is moving. Fine. So what is this find out? It is stimulus, auditory and visual. This one is for movement. There is no auditory or visual. Maybe auditory in the sense someone is giving instruction to the patient, please move left. Because physiotherapist also will do the same thing, right? So physiotherapist, what they will do? They will hold the patient's hand or something. They will make a move. Instead of physiotherapist moving it, here the controller is moving it. At the same time, sometimes physiotherapist will give instruction. You move this way, that way, all those things. So similarly, auditory stimulus is given, right? Next, spinal cord injury rehabilitation. Almost similar, because here also motor imagery is taking into place, right? What is the goal? Restore lost movement in paraplegia or tetraplegia. That is, some people will have some nerve compression or a nerve detachment in the spinal cord, end of the spinal cord. When that happens, people will lose movement. That is called paraplegia. How? Here also, BCI detects movement intention. Intention. You are imagining only, not yet moving, because you are already not capable person to move, right? So BCI detects the movement. Signal to robotic arms, wheelchairs, or electrical stimulation system. Because spinal cord injury people will be able to do something with their hand, only they are not able to walk. So they will be sitting in this wheelchair. So wheelchair will be moved front and back, right? So their electrical brain signal will be decoded to find the intention of the patient, and accordingly you need to move the wheelchairs front and back, right? So allows patients to practice using their paralyzed limbs, strengthening the brain-limb connectivity. So this is exoskeleton. Already we discussed that position has been changed. Maybe one more thing is also there. Oh, here it comes. What is hands-soft rehabilitation? So what is hands-soft rehabilitation? So instead of spinal cord or instead of arm, some arm, it is the palm, fingers and everything, right? See that patient is wearing the cap. So from the cap, signal is acquired, and then EEG signal collection and analysis is deep learning or whatever, anything, etc. Then control center it is going. Control center it is going. Rehabilitation parameters are like again additional 5 centimeters or less than what you are having now position. All those things will be there. So in the hands-soft rehabilitation exoskeleton means only for the fingers you will have the exoskeleton, right? So this one is for the complete body, but what we are talking about here is only for the fingers. Finger movement we are training it up, right? So any questions? So any questions, please? Lot is same, the metal is same. Any questions? Hello? Okay. Some virtual reality, what is it is? Maybe the physiotherapist is other side. Physiotherapist looking at the person's movement, she's giving corrections like do this way, do that way, or something like. Physiotherapist is not in your place, but she's somewhere else. Like you and I are now communicating over Google link, right? So similarly, they both are communicating. That is virtual reality. So through virtual reality, they are giving the feedback, visual and auditory feedback. Visual means they themselves moving their hand, closing their hand or whatever. Auditory feedback is move up or down 2 centimeters, 3 centimeters. Look at my finger, you move like this. Sometimes both together, right? So how do you do this? Because some places you need a procedure how to do it. The hand-soft rehabilitation exoskeleton receives the rehabilitation exercise information sent by the control center and controls the patient's hand to move accordingly. So now that exoskeleton will move. The patient also will not be able to move. She is not in a position to move herself because you would have seen physiotherapist only will be initial days making the patient's hand or leg, they will only be lift that. So instead of a physiotherapy lifting the hands or legs, what it's doing is that exoskeleton, because of the force given to the exoskeleton, it will automatically move the patient's hand. Even though it does, may not be appropriate or may not be exact movement. That is why virtual reality is coming into place here, right? So the hand position information detection is responsible for detecting the real-time motion state of the hand, and communicating with the VR module, virtual reality module, right? Module will show the patient's hand motion state in the form of dynamic and excuse me, கொஞ்சம் தண்ணி கிடைக்குமா? Dynamic, visual and voice prompts and build visual and auditory feedback for the patient. Okay. So that two applications we have seen. First one is stroke patient. Next one is spinal cord injury, and then hand soft rehabilitation also we saw. So mostly here the thing we used is exoskeleton, right? Next one is prosthetic control. So you might be knowing that the amputees are using some artificial hands. Those are called prosthetics. Earlier days, the prosthetics were for some aesthetic appearance. Because you cannot see a person without a hand. It won't be looking good. That is why those people used to buy some artificial hands and attach to their body. Excuse me, please. Okay. So those people will not be able to, aesthetic appearance, they will use it. But over the period, at least they want to do something like some motors operations will be there. So using motor operation, the hand also, for that they need to practice. There is no physiological signal connected, but it will be very hard. It used to be very tough, right? So now neuroprosthetic control is using your brain signal again to use your hand like as similar to the natural limb movement, right? So because if you see that prosthetics nowadays, because of biomaterial research, this comes like looking very similar to natural hand tissue kind of a thing. It is not even heavy, it's lightweight, because earlier things were very heavy because it is iron or something like that, metal something they did it, that is why it used to be heavy. Then they used it for lightweight metal, etc. Now it is itself is like our tissue, muscles, everything, like it will be there. That is why look wise it will be looking very much like that of your natural hand, right? Because of what achievement, that biomaterial research. Okay. So here how you are going to do that? Provide artificial control of external devices. Right? Artificial control of external devices, but with your brain signal. So the attached to your shoulder is an external device. Hand attached to the shoulder is an external device. So here BCA controls the robot arms or wheelchairs. Instead of controlling wheelchair or instead of controlling robotic arms, you are going to control your prosthetic hand. Useful for amputees or patients with severe mobility loss. Right? So rehabilitation aspect, continuous use trains both brain and device, improves independence and cognitive recovery. Right? Initially, it used to be very difficult. Just very slow movement, it will be there. Or sometimes, even if you intended to move your hand up, also it may not to the extent you thought. Right? So training, your brain will start adapt to this condition, and then for cognitive recovery in the sense the brain knowledge level recovery also will be there. See that here, not only there are two nerves, green and red. Those are sensory nerves. So those are connected to this thing, your brain. I want to move my finger is motor intent. That is, you want to move. Sensory feedback is I feel my finger. Like I feel my finger means my finger moved up, right, left, something like that. Right? So this is the principle using here. See that the block diagram. Again, here there is brain cap. Brain cap should be there, but it is not shown here. Instead of that, only that two nerves they have shown. So the region is this region. I want to move my prosthetics. I feel my prosthetics, right? So when he or she think that there is a motor firing activity, that motor firing activity means the brain, the signal. But it is like a continuous signal, right? You can't code it easily because it is not differentiating number 10 and 20 or sine wave and triangle, right? This complicated variable time-based waveform. So it is very difficult to understand that it is due to only this, that, or something, right? That is why motor decoder algorithm we need. So which will move your hands, right? So once you do this, suppose you want to grasp something with the prosthetic hand, right? So that grasping, when you do that, you feel it. That is why feeling sensory encoder algorithm. So that will give you your brain. It is already touch sensing. I am touching light grip or complete grip for everything. There will be changes in the signal in the brain. Okay, so that is why this is neuroprosthetic control. So it is a very good alternative for all those amputees, or even sometimes people by birth only, some people will not have that movements or something. Those people can use this. Further is exoskeleton, because hand is there, we need to attach an exoskeleton which will move your hand up and down. But this one is completely external. Your hand is completely external. Okay. So next one is cognitive rehabilitation. So what is cognitive rehabilitation? Goal: improve attention, memory, and executive function after traumatic brain injury. So sometimes we keep hearing people with brain injury will lose their memory. They forget about their relatives or their family or whatever, right? So such kind, it is cognitive rehabilitation. What is cognitive rehabilitation? We saw that. Now how it can be. BCA-based neurofeedback trains the patients to self-regulate the brain activity. So super good things, no? Even that is why yoga people are also doing. So telling you that you do this, that your brain will be remapped. There is a possibility of brain to be remapped, but we don't have patience enough to follow all these things. So here BCA can do this, right? Example, ADHD, attention deficient hyperactivity or something, and TBI rehabilitation with EEG neurofeedback. This is an example. Attention deficient kids means this autism kids are there, right? Those people will not have an attention to what you are saying. So, but when you train them, how you are training is like you give some music. So some music they will be liking it. When they like it, their attention will be improved, right? So this is how that brain will be trained for them. So when they train them for some times, that is really it is happening in Maharashtra, Mumbai or somewhere. This training center is there. So they take their kids, autism kids, and go train them and come back for some days. But the brain mapping is not constant. It is not permanent. Remapping is not permanent. That is for sometimes, and then again they have to do the remapping, right? Like a good person's, right? Okay, neurofeedback. So what is neurofeedback? It's a form, all these things we study. We saw that cognitive rehabilitation is because of neurofeedback, right? So we should understand what is neurofeedback. It's a form of biofeedback that uses electrical potentials in the brain to reinforce the desired brain states through operant conditioning. Frequency, initially, this is like we need to go regularly to the training center. So frequency, what frequency? It is initially 3 sessions per week. Duration, how long? An 8-week intensive phase followed by a 3-month maintenance phase with monthly sessions. Session length, each session is approximately 30 minutes, including breaks. So there is a protocol they design. According to this protocol, they train the autism kids or attention deficient affected by attention deficiency syndrome. So these things, some BCIs are having some kind of procedures. So we saw for hands that we saw, and here now for neurofeedback we are saying, right? So this is all what is it? Supplementing the idea of yoga, that yoga can cure you, right? So that is the concentration makes your brain to do remapping. Technically, we are remapping. Okay. So next, neurofeedback session components, right? So what are the components here? A calibration. First, calibration means it's mostly training kind of a thing. A calibration process to establish the user specific attention related EEG parameters. BCI based game. The core of the training is, in case of neurofeedback, core of the training involves a 3D graphic game. The other moves faster or achieves higher scores with the increased attention. Attention of the person who is in front of the game, right? Not of the attention of the avatar. When you do that in real time, you get the feedback. That is, the participants receive immediate visual feedback on their attention levels through the game. Right? It's a cognitive talk. After this is done, the alternative session, participants complete short English and math worksheets to apply their learned attention skills to academic tasks. So these are the way you need to do the neurofeedback session. Like physiotherapy session, they will say this is sometime, this is sometime, this is sometime, you need to do that. Similarly, here also we have a kind of a session. Calibration is, I told you, you need to keep the attention correctly with the related EEG parameters. Related EEG parameters means you need to check when the particular person is getting attention, like when the alpha signals are more or beta signal, alpha Bme, which is band of signals he is more attentive. This band of signals, how you find out? You give the stimulation. Give the stimulation. We ourselves know when we listen to, when you are not getting sleep, you listen to songs, right? So when you listen to songs, your brain is mapped differently. So some stimulus you are giving to your brain, right? So that's you give some stimulus, so that specific related EEG parameters you get, right? Once you get, then you play the game. That they will be attentive over the avatar and all those things, right? So some cases stimulus everywhere, not some cases everywhere, stimulus is essential. Motor imagery alone, your thinking power, imaginating power, that is no external stimulus. But here external stimulus is needed, right? Okay. So this is the block diagram architecture for neurofeedback. Okay. So you measure the brain activity, you give it to signal processing, that is pre-processing, etc. Then audio-visual presentation, audio-visual text, tactile feedback. Tactile means it is touch feedback, right? Either audio or visual or touch feedback. The feedback is something like for autism kids and all, it is feedback is not directly to them, maybe to their parents, so that they will. This feedback is to change the electrical activity by the way of giving the stimulus, that is audio, visual, tactile feedback, right? So this is by seeing the signal processing and their signal processing output features, bands, etc., and the person's outward looks, whether he is interested or something, you are going to give additional feedback in the form of audio or visual or tactile, so that more and more his brain is removed. Okay. So next is communication in locked-in syndrome. What is locked-in syndrome? Again, this is already I told when I was referring to P300, I told locked-in syndrome. What is this locked-in syndrome is? Same stroke patients, but not a hand or a leg. Maybe that is also the case. In addition, their mouth is also a problem, so that they are not able to communicate. If they want food, they want to move further, they want to go to restroom or whatever, we will not understand. They are not able to communicate or express their intent to you. So there should be some rehabilitation method of making the patient known. Communication in locked-in syndrome. So goal, allow patients with no motor output to communicate. No motor output, as well as communication also is not there. I need to go to that home or something. Okay. So how it is? So far, we have seen the applications only with motor imagery. Everything is motor, even the prosthetic is motor imagery. One more thing, neurofeedback we saw. That is neurofeedback alone is separate. That is autism kids. There is 3 paradigm. One is motor imagery, neurofeedback, and this one is P300 spellers. Right? So how to communicate, how to activate the communication between the locked-in syndrome patients and the caretaker, right? So that is using P300 spellers or SSVEP based systems, already I told. State, visually evoked potential, or sometimes motor imagery also. So rehabilitation aspect, what it does, provide social interaction. Because already they don't have any communication. They will be irritated of that, depression, many things will happen, right? So if you do some rehabilitation, just making them to feel I am also socially involved with everyone, socially communicating with everyone, so that they will feel happy. This is not a way of doing it, but still some communication between them and others are there, so they will feel happy, right? Provide social interaction, improves the quality of life and reduces cognitive decline. Because of depression, again, this cognitive process will keep on decreasing, that they don't even will remember reading letters, right? English or Tamil or Telugu or whatever language they know, right? See the block diagram. Mental task has to be given. Everywhere there should be some stimulus, I told, right? The stimulator is the screen, the dots here, maybe typewriter also. Okay, so in the typewriter, the patient lockdown syndrome, maybe you ask the questions, what do you want? I want apple, right? Then the keyboard, they will be searching for I. It is not that a fixed keyboard with the keyboard. This is monitor. The monitor, visually they are looking at it. They will not be like it is, the letters are not fixed. It is the flashcards, like row by row will change and not will change. First row will be first row will be highlighted, then second row will be highlighted, third row. Once all each rows are over, then column wise highlighting will be there, right? So when this is the case, highlighting is the case, whenever the I comes in the horizontal, suppose let's assume that I is in the first row and the third column, right? So when the first row is highlighting, flashing, immediately in the brain of the affected person, oh, I got I. So that there is a signal that is called P300 signal. Means what is P300 signal is, the moment the lockdown patient thinks that the I is there, which is I wanted, like if she thinks, after 300 milliseconds, the signal will come. So this, you see that signal, after 300 milliseconds, the signal starts to come, right? So that is why it is called positive only. That signal is only positive. That is why P300 signal. 300 milliseconds. Now row over. Then column wise. First column is no light. So no brain activity. Second column, when it is flashing, there is no brain activity. Third column is coming, there will be brain activity. Right? So column 3 and row 0. Row 0 or 1, whatever. Because of this, the activity, two signals, row signals has been generated, column signal has been generated. Both signals will be predicted using which the signals will be used to predict which column and which row. When you know that, we will be identifying the letters. It is similar to the keyboard mechanism in microcontroller. There also it is like that only, right? Key by key, row by column, you will be studying about it, right? The intersection of the letter is here also intersection, but the only thing is here it is, that is why you need to go for a artificial intelligence, either machine learning or deep. You need to go. Without it, you will keyboard interfacing with your microcontroller. There is no need of artificial intelligence involved. So here artificial intelligence is involved. Okay. So once it is decided, then I is done. Next, I love cake, right? Something I told you, I forgot. Now I love cake. Then L will come. That time it will. Then I, once it is I is decoded, I will be printed on the board. Printed on the monitor or something. Like this for every letter, L, O, V, E, C, A, K, right? But remember, think that it is very much flashing and eye flickering gives the strain in your eye. That's why there are a lot of other things, or the steady state visual evoked potential and auditory stimulus. Something like someone shouts, immediately her response will change, brain response will change. A, B, C, D, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, like this, someone says, so immediately her auditory response will change. Because of auditory response, her BCI signal also will change, right? So this is how the communication in locked-in syndrome patient will be done between them and the caretaker. It will be coming in the monitor. I love cake, so I need cake now. I want cake now. I want to go to the other room. Something like that. All those things will be communicated. But one thing is that filtering will strain the eyes of the person, so that they have to be trained very nicely to use this. Many different mechanisms have come in for this in order to reduce the flickering. Okay. Next, so how do you do this? How to do it? So personal training. Anyway, you need to train them, because when you look at the rows and columns continuously, only you will be doing it. So this technology has a disadvantage also. Sessions is focus on calibrating the BCI to an individual's unique brain signal. Task-based training. Patients might be asked to imagine specific movements or focus on visual cues like colors on the screen. Maybe colors on the screen is like each color will be different letter also, right? If letter flashing is difficult, colors or cues. Feedback and liberation. The basic feedback, that is auditory cues or visual cursors, to help the patient learn to generate consistent brain signal. Then session management. Sessions are kept relatively around to over time to avoid user fatigue and maintain engagement. So here, ultimately, once you take the signal, it is pre-processing, feature extraction, DLL or ML, etc. But this is very difficult. There is session, keeping the session, making the patient to sit, make them to understand the things, even not the patients. Nowadays, these results are available mostly with the non-human only, not with the right? Patients may not understand very well. We ourselves may not understand, right? Next one is gait rehabilitation. What is your leg movement in a different way, right? It is not, they are still able to move, but the way of walk style is different. It is like crossing leg because of some accident previously, etc. Right? What is the goal here? Help patients walk again after the stroke or SA. Previously, what I said is neuroplasticity. Here it is not there because twisted legs, something, right? So BCI detects gait-related motor imagery, gait trainers, or fist on leg muscles. Benefit: brain signals plus physical feedback, relearn walking patterns. So all these things are some applications, rehabilitation syndrome, and then neurofeedback. All these things are process control. Only neurofeedback is different signal, and another one is lock syndrome 300. Everything is more image, right? Now, what is this PCA stimulus design? So this is with respect to the motor imagery I am explaining, because this is the most wanted in many of the applications, stroke applications, sort of prosthetics, spinal injury, everywhere, gait analysis, everywhere the motor imagery only is used. So that's true. You are making the patients to sit and they are wearing the cap, but you should prompt You should prompt at a particular time instant, right? Prompt them to do something. That is called Q time. You see, -1, -2, or before starting the operation, right? Q means you are giving the prompt to the patient or prompt to the experimenting guy that you have to imagine something, right? You have to imagine something. So the moment they start imagining, immediately the signal starts generated. So you need to take this up to 5 seconds. Right? That's enough. Even 5 seconds also not needed. 3 seconds is needed. Latest results there, right? So these things we need to train the patient for long time, and so that they will be able to do this, right? Session protocol. BCA protocol consists of this research I have written, consisted of total 15 neurofeedback sessions, that is motor imagery sessions, with a duration of 1 to 1 hours, each repeated 2-3 times per week. This is only this. I am making them to for some time, which is Q is at 0 point, and then the signal is generated. 5 seconds is enough, but still we are taking here for 1 to 1 hours, each repeated 2 times per week, because we need lots and lots of signals, right? More and more signals for your deep learning training, The session was split into 2 parts: the calibration phase where patients perform MI, and the online where they had to control stimuli on the screen continuously. So during the calibration phase, to perform MI, an image of him was displayed for 5 seconds for the cross icon at the center of the monitor, alternatively to a blank screen of the wrist. So this thing is very important. Conducting a session for each type of BCA applications. This is the mostly wanted thing, which we never used to do that because we don't have the proper BCA headset. Even we have the BCA headset, but it's loose contact, we are not doing it. It's not possible. Even it is possible also, as a researcher, at least you should sit in the calm room. But practically, the person can in the calm room to say that I love cake, I need cake or whatever. But still, it is in the experimental research phase, it should be initially to do it in the complete silent or acoustic room where you can do it. So that is also the need of the hour. So that we will be able to get. But every BCA application needs some kind of a session protocol. Okay. So even before I finished, because there is no conversation at all, I was asking, now please ask some questions so that I will be satisfying myself that something has been reaching you, something is reaching you. Any questions? Any questions, please? Actually, I have generating CSP program also. It is using Jupyter Notebook. Ask some questions, we'll go to that. No questions, huh? Please, for my satisfaction, 2-3 questions. Vidya ma'am? Is it visible, my Jupyter Notebook? Is it visible? Hello? Hello, is it visible, my Jupyter notebook?
Have any queries you can proceed with the ma'am. Students are there to proceed. Ma'am, shall we go on to vote of thanks? Ma'am,
Hello?
ma'am, can you hear me, ma'am? Ma'am,
Chelluங்க.
வீடியோ ஓபன் பண்ணிட்டாங்க. Ma'am, vote of thanks போயிடலாம்.